A couple of weeks ago, I attempted to beat Yoshi's Island for the Super Nintendo without using eggs. Well, today I'm back at it again, but this time for another Yoshi game, Yoshi's Woolly World for the Wii U. This game is so pretty and beautiful, cause everything is made out of yarn and wool, so cute. But to be fair, it is still a Yoshi game, so things remain the same. You control Yoshi, you eat up enemies, you turn them into yarn eggs, and then you use those eggs to make your way past the obstacles and enemies. But I mean, look at those beautiful yarn eggs. Do we really need to break them? They could be used to knit a hat or a blanket. So I wonder, how many yarn eggs do we actually need to beat the entire game? The rules are simple. We're going to be playing Yoshi's Woolly World from beginning to end, and we are going to try to avoid using yarn eggs. But what are yarn eggs? Well, basically, when you eat an enemy and you press down, an egg starts following you around. That is a yarn egg. We can have those following us around without a problem for this challenge, but if we use them to complete a puzzle or to defeat an enemy, it will count as a broken egg. Now, let's begin, shall we? World 1-1 will introduce us to a couple of mechanics we're going to be using in this quest. Basically, about 30 seconds into the level, you'll reach this part here. Those platforms require us to use a yarn egg to knit them and make them usable. Does that mean we already need to use some eggs? Well, not exactly. You see, when you use your Yoshi tongue on an enemy, you turn it into a yarn ball that Yoshi keeps in his mouth. Now, instead of turning it into an egg, we can spit it right back and use that to create our platforms. Now, this means that you will need all of the Shy Guys in this first section of the level, so make sure not to jump on a single one. You need them all. Keep going back and forth and you'll just have enough to create all 3 platforms required to make it to the next part. For this bit here, you can just flutter jump above it, so no worries. Just make sure to have a Shy Guy ready to make this flower appear and you'll be all good. World 1-2 doesn't feature any problem whatsoever, as you can just bounce your way to the end of the level. World 1-3 features those blue dirt walls that can be destroyed by pushing boulders into them or spitting enemies right back at them. But the problem comes from this part here. You see, there are no enemies and no way to get rid of that wall without grabbing a yarn egg from the box over there. But thankfully, it's time to talk about another mechanic returning from Yoshi's Island. Yarn eggs can actually bounce up to 3 times before being broken, and using your Yoshi tongue on a moving yarn egg will stop it and bring it right back to you. This means we can just grab one yarn egg from the box, throw it all the way on top of us, and then bring it right back before it breaks. This allows us to make it past that wall without breaking a single egg, which is perfect. Use those white plant enemies to get rid of all the dirt and you'll be done in no time. World 1-4 is our first fort of the game, and to be fair, it's pretty easy and doesn't feature any roadblocks whatsoever. You have plenty of Shy Guys to use to create the platforms you need. In order to make it to the bus, you have to eat up this big yarn ball, but as long as we don't have to use it on the bus, we'll be all good. And thankfully, Big Montgomery is just one easy bus that requires you to ground pound his butt 3 times, so no need for any eggs in here. World 1-5 has lots of windmills with invisible platforms where you'd usually just use your yarn eggs, but since we do not want to break any in here, let's just flutter jump to make it pass. It's actually pretty easy to do if you tap the A button with the perfect timing. You'll almost always glide horizontally without losing altitude, so that's good. World 1-6 features lots of bombs that you use to break stuff. It also has this giant Yoshi segment where you literally just break everything in your path, but yeah, no eggs required. World 1-7 is also quite easy and does introduce us to a new item that will be helpful in this quest, Melon Seeds. You see, near the end of the level, there are sand walls on your path, but blasting them with the Melon Seeds will easily allow you to go through, so no worries. World 1-8 has a couple of balloons we need to pop, but there are enemies everywhere, so you don't have to worry about needing eggs in here. And now, for the boss, Bert the Bashful, well basically all you need to do is grab those Shy Guys to stun him, and then grab onto his pants to get him completely naked. And there we go, easy victory. World 2-1 starts off easy, that is, until you go down that pipe and enter the underground area. You see, in here you absolutely have to pop a balloon in order to continue in the level, but sadly there are no enemies to help you down there. At first, I thought we'd have to break an egg in here, but here's the interesting thing. You can actually use your Yoshi tongue on this block here to get a big yarn ball. And the fun thing about this yarn ball is that it can pop a balloon without breaking. Actually, a big yarn egg can hit 3 things before it breaks down. So here's the master plan. Grab a big yarn egg before going underground over there and use it to pop the first 2 balloons and then grab it back with your Yoshi tongue. Then grab another big yarn egg over there and use that one to pop the 3rd balloon. And there you go, you popped everything you needed to pop and none of our big yarn eggs have been broken. Nice! You're also gonna need that big yarn ball to pop the balloon over there and grab it back with your tongue once again to get to that red switch, and the rest of the level will be done in no time. Wow, that was pretty nice. I'm glad we could find 2 giant yarn eggs, cause that's exactly what we needed in here. World 2-2 has a couple of balloons to pop here and there, but the level gives you these mice enemies that keep spawning over and over again, so no worries. The mechanic behind World 2-3 is that you need to change those chain chumps into yarn chumps by using an egg in order to push them around and break blocks. And sadly, there are no enemies to help you on your quest in here, meaning you'll actually have to use some yarn eggs. We'll need 1 for this first chain chump, 1 for the second chain chump over there, another 1 for the 3rd chain chump, and finally you'll need 2 to get to the last one, as we have to use an egg to break this block first before getting to the chain chump. Ouch, that's a grand total of 6 eggs we needed to break in here. Oh well, hopefully no more will be broken. World 2-4 will force you to grab a lot of those big yarn balls, but you'll actually never have to use any of them, so yeah. Same thing for the boss, which just requires you to grab him and then ground pound his belly 3 times. Easy. World 2-5 is the very first level with Poochie the doggy. Oh, isn't he the cutest thing ever? Oh, come here, yeah. You're so cute, my little Poochie. You're so cute. Oh, sorry. I kinda got carried away. Well, the level is very easy and you don't need any egg, so let's move on. World 2-6 is also very simple and won't force you to use a single egg, so let's move on. World 2-7 takes place in a pyramid, which will force you to complete 4 challenges to get 4 keys to make it to the end. And to be fair, all of the challenges can be done without needing to turn a single enemy into a yarn egg. All of the 4 challenges to get the keys require you to light some torches with your Yoshi Fire Breath, which is pretty interesting. Sadly, once you get the 4 keys, you'll arrive in this hallway, which will force you to use a yarn ball to first discover the hidden balloon and then to pop it. We can recover the ball for the first throw, but we can't save it from its doom when popping the balloon. That is so sad. 1 more broken egg. World 2-8 is up, and this is a very straightforward level. Just make your way to the end and defeat the boss, which is, once again, super easy and doesn't require a single egg to be beaten. Simply grab his fireballs and spit them right back at him to win. Time to move on to World 3-1, a world full of delicious cookies. Simply grab the little buttons those enemies spit at you and you'll never need a single egg. World 3-2 wants you to make your way to the top of a very high vertical level. Along the way, you'll have to eat plenty of wool to make big eggs, but you'll never have to use a single one, so that's pretty good. World 3-3 will make you grab onto these yarn walls into the background, but you'll be able to eat and spit enemies as you go, so you'll actually never need to throw a single egg in here. World 3-4 features bubbles everywhere, so just bounce your way to the end of the level. The boss is once again this mole, and to defeat it this time, just grab one of the smaller mole and spit it right back at the big one, and repeat this process 3 times to win. World 3-5 gives you those little bird guys that were also present in Yoshi's Island. You can use them to create cloudy bridges to make it to the end of the level. Thankfully, they are not eggs, so we're all good. World 3-6 is a maze to navigate. I got lost for so long in here. you'll have a couple of balloons to pop in order to get the key needed to complete the level, but thankfully you'll also get a big yarn egg near the beginning, so you'll be able to use that and grab it back before it breaks down. Nice! World 3-7 is very easy at first, as you have plenty of birds flying everywhere, so no need for eggs. After you complete the part where Yoshi is a plane, make sure to grab at least one of those little running birds, as you'll need one to pop this middle balloon over there, and if you fail to grab a minimum of one, well, they don't come back, forcing you to restart the level. World 3-8 is very easy. There are those cloud bullet bills that will create a path for you to walk on, so you'll actually never need an egg in here. To be fair, the boss over there is also super easy. Just grab onto his yarn and ground pound it 3 times, and that is all. World 4-1 is up, and there will be plenty of little monkeys in here. You can use them to pop the balloons and make your way through the level. World 4-2 contains this part with the walls of dirt, but thankfully the mini Lakitus in the background will be there to help you make your way through the cave. World 4-3 has this part here where you'd usually need to use eggs to create platforms, but you can thankfully just flutter jump across the lake and make it. The rest of the level is super simple. World 4-4 requires you to hit those boxes to make the water level go up and down, but you can thankfully just ground pound the block. No need for a single egg in here. The same thing can be said about the Koopa bus, which just requires you to ground pound his belly once again. I swear those buses are all the same. World 4-5 is up, and this one is a very fast level. You gotta hang onto the curtains and jump from one to another until you reach the end of this level. But as you can tell from the footage right now, you'll never get a chance to use an egg in here, and that's actually what we want from this challenge, so yeah, that's good. World 4-6 is not very difficult, and you'll make it to the end very quickly. World 4-7 features those arrow circle platforms that can move you in any direction, and with a cool item like this, we don't need a single egg. World 4-8 will force you to take damage to go through that evil plant, but that's a fair price to pay in order to avoid breaking a single egg. Make sure you grab the big blue yarn egg, as you'll need it to pop this balloon over here, and once again, make sure to get it back before it breaks. To defeat the Piranha Plant boss, just grab the bombs and spit it right back in his mouth, and that's it. Welcome to World 5-1, and in this level you won't need an egg, as the first part of the level contains this humongous snowball that breaks everything in its path. This next part offers you the fire melons, which will be more than enough to melt those annoying ice blocks and make your way to the end. World 5-2 doesn't require an egg because you have those ice melons, which will be more than enough to freeze any enemy that is in your way. In World 5-3, you must navigate on those magic carpets to make your way across the level. You'll eventually reach this part, which usually requires you to use an egg to knit a magic carpet. But here's the thing though, you can actually just flutter jump your way across the whole section and avoid using a single egg. Crazy, isn't it? The flutter jump in Yoshi's Woolly World is so broken, dude. World 5-4 contains a lot of penguins, so don't be afraid to use them to make your way to the end of the level. And for the boss, guess what? You don't need a single egg, just ground pounds. Yeah. Very original, I know. World 5-5 has tons of enemies you can use to get through the level, so you'll actually never need to use an egg in here. World 5-6 is one of those confusing levels where you get lost for way too long trying to figure out where to go, but don't be afraid, there are plenty of enemies on your path to get to the very end without having to resort to using eggs, so we're all good. World 5-7 will force you to hit those boxes in order to get to the end, but you can thankfully use enemies that are lying around to do the trick just fine. There's also a lot of bullet bills in here, so you'll never run out of enemies, thankfully. Time for World 5-8, which to be fair, ain't exactly very difficult. You really just have to make your way from the left to the right in order to reach the boss. You do not have to pop a single balloon if you don't want to, which is good. The boss will provide the Shy Guys required to knock him into the spikes and to defeat him, so no need for eggs in here. We are now arriving in World 6-1, a very easy level where you'll need to grab onto the spider webs to make your way to the very end. And once again, those kind of levels do not allow you to make or throw eggs while grabbing onto the thing, so no worries in here. World 6-2 is a little bit more complicated, as you'll have to use enemies to hit those sun-like enemies to turn them into platforms. I wouldn't waste the Shy Guys if I were you in here, because they provide a quick way to get to the very top. Thankfully, there's always a bullet bill cannon which will give you ammo to make it to the top, so we're good. World 6-3 is up, and do not waste a single Shy Guy in here, as you'll need to pop these balloons. Thankfully, the Shy Guys usually reappear once you leave and come back into a room, so you'll be all good. World 6-4 has lots of Koopas, bullet bills, and other enemies, so you will not need a single yarn egg to get to the boss. You will also not need a single one to defeat the boss, as you can just grab the bullet bills his cannon shoots to spit them right back at him. World 6-5 is next, and this one's a little bit of a problem. You see, in order to make it far in this level, you must use yarn eggs onto those boos to turn them into floating balloons. Sadly, there's not a lot of Shy Guys or bullet bills or enemies in this stage, so you'll actually need 1 egg for this ghost and 2 eggs for these ghost platforms. Thankfully, you can use a Shy Guy for this big boo over there, so we can save 1 in here. You'll actually need 3 for those platforms over there, and finally 1 egg for the big boo in here. Ouch, that's a total of 7 more broken eggs. That hurts. Hopefully these are the very last ones we have to use. World 6-6 is a level where Yoshi sticks on everything. Walls, ceilings, you name it. This level will be super easy to complete and you won't have a single problem in here. World 6-7 features Kamek going back and forth trying to attack you over and over again as you complete the level, but it won't be a problem and you won't need a single egg, so yeah. Welcome to the final level, World 6-8, which has a very interesting mechanic, but it's gonna be annoying in this quest. See, most of the enemies in here are black Shy Guys, but in order to open the final door, we need to find a red, a green, a white, and a blue Shy Guy and turn them into yarn balls. These enemies are located in the 4 corners of the stage, but since you can't just grab an enemy and bring it to another screen without losing it, this means we'll actually have to turn them into eggs and then use those eggs. That's 4 more eggs we have to break on those statues. Come on game, that ain't cool. Time to fight Baby Bowser. And for the first phase, you'll have to use the Shy Guys that he makes appear in order to defeat him, which is not a problem. But once he is down, Kamek will use his magic power to turn Baby Bowser into Giant Baby Bowser. And to break this curse, you'll have to use those giant yarn balls to hit the Sever Wonder Wools, and sadly, even though those are big yarn eggs, they explode upon contact, meaning we'll have to use 7 of them in here. That is so lame, none of the bosses before required eggs, and now the final boss requires 7? Oh well, at least we defeated Baby Bowser, knitted back the Yoshis, and saved the universe. Alright, how many eggs did it take us to beat Yoshi's Woolly World? Let's recap. We needed 6 in World 2-3 for the Chain Chomps, 1 in the Pyramid in World 2-7, 7 for the Boos in World 6-5, 4 to open the final boss door in World 6-8, and finally 7 to defeat Baby Bowser, bringing up the total to 25 eggs. But wait a minute though, here's the thing about Yoshi's Woolly World. The game is compatible with Amiibo, some giving out costumes and other bringing out an ally buddy with you. And since I spent way too much money on those Amiibos, might as well see if they can help us in this quest. Here's the thing, we can actually use our buddy Yoshi Amiibo and spit it right back to avoid using eggs on the Chain Chomps. And it works for all of the Chain Chomp in this level, so that is 6 less eggs in here. You can also use your Yoshi buddy to pop the balloon up there, saving us another egg. You can also use it against the Boos in World 6-5, and it even works in the Boo platforms, so we can save another 7 eggs. Wow! And now here's the thing for World 6-8. Sadly, the blue Yoshi amiibo is not the correct shade of blue to use it on the statue, but if we enter the level as Red Yoshi and then use the green Yoshi amiibo, we can actually use both of those Yoshis to replace 2 of the 4 eggs required to open the door, removing, once again, 2 eggs. I also tried to enter the level in 2 players mode, hoping to use the 2 colored Yoshis and then to drop out player 2 to bring in my green Yoshi amiibo to try to save a 3rd egg, but you can only decide how many players will play when you enter a level, so you can't just drop out during that level. And you can't use an amiibo when playing in 2 players mode, sadly. I also tried to use my Yoshi amiibo buddy to replace the eggs for the final boss, but for some reason it's not letting me throw him at the Wonder Wools, so we cannot replace those 7 eggs, sadly. But with those improvements, we only need 9 yarn eggs in order to beat the whole game. That's kinda good. I'm satisfied. Are you satisfied? Thanks a lot for watching this video, guys. Make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss a single video, and give a like if you enjoyed it. If you want your name in the credit like those guys right there, consider joining the BBQ team. It helps support the show and allows me to make these videos every week. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one.